She walks into the ring as if the noise belongs to someone else. The lights are a storm, the cameras a swarm. But Imane Khelif's gaze is quiet, a steady line drawn from her corner to the far post of possibility. She touches her gloves, breathes like a metronome, and stands exactly where doubt once tried to live. The bell hasn't sounded yet, but you can already feel the argument she's about to make with her hands. That courage is a routine, not a mood. That pressure is just air, and air is for breathing. That you can face the world and refuse to flinch. Her story begins far from the spotlights, in gyms where the walls sweat with old effort and the mirrors are cracked by history. You don't stumble into those places. You return to them over and over until the sound of your own footwork becomes a kind of prayer. Khelif learned the language of strict mornings and stubborn evenings, wraps tight, laces tighter, a coach's voice bouncing off concrete like a second heartbeat. She wasn't auditioning for attention, she was building a craft. The jab learned how to whisper and how to shout, the cross learned when to arrive, and the feet learned the most important thing of all, where not to be when trouble swings. Amateurs prepare you for the calendar, life prepares you for detours. Her path bent through qualifying tournaments and long travel days, cuts on the lip and doubts on the timeline, the ordinary grind that turns talented athletes into professionals. In that grind, Khelif collected something people mistake for luck. Consistency. It isn't flashy, it's the invisible discipline of breathing when you want to gasp, of moving your head when your pride wants to plant. She stacked sessions until the stack became a ladder, and the ladder led to stages where you spell your name under lights and your country's flag in slow motion. Then came the part most careers never plan for. The noise outside the ring, questions, headlines, comment sections that confuse curiosity with cruelty, eligibility debates that float like fog and sting like rain. In moments like those, an athlete can shrink or sharpen. Khelif chose sharp. She followed the protocols that the organizers required, showed up to weigh-ins and warm-ups with the same visible calm, and kept her answers in the language she speaks best: footwork, timing, punch selection. She did not try to win the internet, she tried to win rounds. Watch the tape and you'll see why the noise never had a chance once the bell rang. Khelif fights with a two-part thesis: dictate space, dictate rhythm. The first is geometry, angle in, angle out, never leave your head where your fist used to be. The second is music. The jab sets the tempo, the slip changes key, the counterpunch lands right as the opponent inhales. When she is on song, the opponent doesn't just miss, they miss late. That half-beat delay is the difference between a punch that lands and a punch that lives in the memory of what could have been. There's a move she loves that looks simple and isn't. She throws the jab not to score, but to pull a reaction, a flinch, a parry, a reach. The moment the guard opens like a door on squeaky hinges, she steps to the blind side and drops a straight, no wind-up, no announcement, just a line from intention to impact. Then she's gone again, back on the outside where her lungs are her allies and your feet feel heavy. It's not dominance by volume, it's persuasion by clarity. She spends most of the fight making the ring feel too small for her opponent and big enough for herself. Between rounds, you can measure a boxer by what they do on the stool. Some wear fatigue like a coat. Khelif wears composure. She listens for real, eyes still, shoulders soft, the nod that says, "I can implement that now." The coach's instructions don't bounce off adrenaline, they sink. When she rises, it is not with drama, it is with purpose. Hands up, knees tuned, a little bounce to remind the legs who they are. Bell, back to work. The work isn't only fists, it's attention. She reads tells, shoulders that creep forward before a hook, heels that click before a lunge, eyes that peek before a right hand, and files them away for the fourth round, the sixth, the ninth. She invests early to collect late. That sees why her late rounds often look like someone turned on the lights in a room you didn't notice was dim. The same exchanges that were 50-50 suddenly tilt. The same openings that were teases become tunnels. Championship nights aren't just contests, they're verdicts. On hers, she walked through a corridor of cameras, gloves tapping, pupils steady. Opponents don't only fight her hands, they fight her silence. There is power in the refusal to narrate your struggle while it's in progress. She saves the words for the bell, and the bell declared what the rounds already knew, that you can be tested by scrutiny and still pass the more important examinations, the ones that require balance when you re-hit clean breath when the plan frays, and kindness when victory tempts you to gloat. Her kindness, by the way, is not softness, it's clarity about what the sport is for. Boxing is a ledger of choices under stress. You cannot talk your way through it. You can prepare, you can adjust, and you can honor your opponent by giving them your best read at all times. Khelif's post-fight embraces, her nods toward a rival's corner, the way she thanks the officials and the crowd. These are not brand exercises, they are acknowledgements that being champion means carrying the room, not just the belt. Ask her team what sets her apart, and they won't say power first. They'll say presence. She has the presence to settle an arena by standing still, the presence to make the distance between exchanges feel like her time, and the presence to keep the spotlight from becoming a searchlight. Under those lights, she does not try to be larger than life. She tries to fit her full life inside 2 square meters of canvas and 3 minutes of clarity. That's enough. The aftermath of winning rarely quiets a life that was once loud. It changes the pitch. New microphones, new requests, new narratives written by people who did not lace a glove or hear a count. Khelif's answer is continuity. She returns to the gym where walls remember and mirrors tell the truth. She adds footwork ladders when the world wants photo shoots, shadow boxes when it wants sound bites, counts breaths when it wants a brand new storyline. The point is not to hide. The point is to stay built the way you were built, session by session, round by round. There will be more fights, more weigh-ins, more weigh-outs, more flights with bad coffee and early alarms. There will be opponents who study her tape as if the answer lives there. There will be young boxers who point at the screen and say that one and then start skipping rope with new posture. That may be the quietest victory of all, that a career can become a compass for someone else. Morning. Champions don't get to choose what others take from their story, but they can make sure the theme is worthy. Hers is, face what arrives. Breathe. Make the ring a conversation you control. When the world leans in too close, don't flinch. And if you still want the word miracle, fine. Use it for the part we never see, the nights she almost gave in and didn't, the sessions that were almost skipped and weren't the private negotiations, with fear that ended with an alarm set an hour earlier. Use it for the way a human being can gather herself against noise and doubt and deadlines and tell the truth with her hands. Use it for the hush right before the bell, when 2 people agree to meet at the intersection of courage and consequence. When that hush lifts and the first jab lands, the world speaks in cheers and gasps and numbers. Khelif speaks in clarity, and clarity at this level is a kind of grace.